Hi, everybody.
Oh,
Welcome. Hi. So we're going to get started soon. We are here for the Summer Research Opportunities info session, and we'll be highlighting UC scholars and Genentech scholars. My name is Dr. Sophia Tsaineri, and
my name's, no,
I
go
am
ahead.
sorry about that. I am the Research Scholarships Coordinator here at the Undergraduate Research Hub.
And my name is Dr. Kirsten Kung. I'm also work at the Undergraduate Research Hub. I'm a research programs coordinator, and we're very excited to have all of you here. I wanted to let you know that we will be recording this session so that you can all be aware of that. And we will, when the session is completed, we will post it onto our YouTube channel. So if there's items that come up that you would like to go back and review again, you'll have the opportunity to do that. Also, at the end of this session, we will have a time for questions and answers. So if you have any questions, make a note of them so that at the end you can be sure to ask them.
And feel free to also just put them into the chat, and we will get to them when we get to the Q&A portion. All right. So we wanted to tell you a bit about the research opportunities here, specifically through the Undergraduate Research Hub. And there are other programs that are available, but overall, we do have a good number of programs to support students both throughout the summer as well as during the academic year. One of the most frequent questions students ask us is there a research opportunity that is available and a good fit for me? And the short answer, yes. There's so many different ways to be participating in research. And so we do have opportunities that cover the breadth of student backgrounds. And so we cover all fields of research. We cover all levels of previous research experience, whether you have a mentor and research and you've been doing that for a few years, or if you're brand new to research and don't have a research mentor, that whole span of things we do cover in our research opportunities. We have programs that cover all class standings. So whether you're a first year just getting started or all the way through seniors that might be about to graduate pretty soon in the next few months, we do have opportunities. We support students from all different citizenship statuses. So that does include international students as well as undocumented students. And we do have support for all different kinds of education and career goals that students may have, whether you plan to go to med school, grad school, law school, or you're just done with a bachelor's and you want to continue on to work immediately. Any of those backgrounds can be covered in our programs as well. All right, so a lot of times students wonder a little bit about summer research programs specifically, what's going to be involved with them. And we just want to give you a quick overview. All of our programs in the summer do have faculty mentored research. So you are working under a faculty that oversees the research. You may be assigned to maybe a grad student or a postdoc, depending on the project and the field. Or you may work directly with the faculty. So there's always faculty involved in somehow in research that we support. And we do support professional development activities. And so usually students just think about, I'm doing research, I'm trying to figure out new things, learn what's on the cutting edge of my field. But we also want to make sure you have professional development. We host seminars and workshops and things like research ethics, research communication, thinking about various career paths and more. And we also include library training. So if you don't know maybe how to maximize your use of the libraries here at UC San Diego, we will make sure you get that training early on.
So another important aspect of summer research programs are networking opportunities and other ways that you interact with people. So it's really important that during a summer opportunity, you have a chance to get to know faculty members and lots of different people who may be working on the research that you're doing. So you'll get to know the faculty member with whom you're working. Sophia also mentioned that you may be working with graduate students or postdocs. So you'll have the opportunity to get to know the people in your research team. You'll also get to know people in other research teams, and in particular, other students who are doing research. So the programs that we're going to talk about today all fall under an umbrella of a larger program called the Summer Research Program, or SRP. The SRP has a number of programs within it, and so that gives you the opportunity to meet other students within your specific program and also students in the larger SRP. So you'll get to network not only with faculty and researchers, but also other students. We do put an emphasis on social events and community building. We want to make sure that you're not only getting a lot out of your research experience, but that you're also getting a sense of community and getting to know other students who might be doing research, whether the topic is really similar to yours or very different. And one of the highlights of the program is the Summer Research Conference. This happens towards the end of the summer, and it includes students from our SRP programs, as well as other students at UC San Diego who have been doing research for the summer, and students from across the region. So we've had students from SDSU and Point Loma, and sometimes places like LA or even farther away. It really is an opportunity for students from a number of regions to get the chance to talk about the research that they've done, to demonstrate all that they've learned. And it's just fascinating to hear the other students talking about what they've done, what they've learned, how they've progressed with their research. And it's a great opportunity for the students who are presenting to really feel comfortable and confident knowing that they have worked hard all summer and now they're getting a chance to show what they've learned. So another benefit of doing summer research is that it gives you the chance to delve into a topic in depth. Typically during research during the academic year, you're often trying to juggle classwork as well as perhaps working at a job or something along those lines and other responsibilities. During the summer, you're really able to focus just on the research that you're doing and the professional development activities. And so that really gives you this chance to get a better sense of what it would be like to be in a research field. So for example, if you're thinking about going to graduate school, the way the summer unfolds is more similar to being in graduate school than being an undergraduate doing research might be. In general, as it mentions, outside classes and work are not permitted. We have questions about this every year. It's not that we think that you're not capable of multitasking, but over the years, we've found that having it so that students really are focused on the research and not having to worry about trying to take a class or trying to have other employment really makes a difference. It makes it so that the experience that you're having is much richer. Your understanding of the research and the topic is really enhanced by that focus. So because though we recognize that students often need to have an income, the students who participate in our program receive a stipend. That means that they get paid while they're doing the research. Many of the programs also offer housing support, and that can vary. So for the programs that do offer housing support, typically you either have the choice of being in on-campus housing that the program pays for, or of receiving a housing stipend. So if you're already in a lease, for example, and you can't break the lease in order to live on campus, you would get some funds to offset the cost of housing. The amount of support that you receive via the stipend and housing credits and things along those lines varies from program to program. We try to make it so that it's fairly equal across programs, but sometimes it just looks a little bit different. So if you're in a program that does not offer housing support, the stipend might be higher because we know that you're not getting that housing support. Similarly, the length of the programs may vary. So the programs typically are either 8 weeks or 10 weeks. If you're in a 10-week program, the total stipend that you receive is more than if you're in an 8-week program. But when you break it down on a week-by-week basis, it's fairly comparable. Another benefit of being in a summer research program is that many of the programs offer course credit. So this is 199 credit. It's independent study. This means that you receive credit for the research that you're doing, and this can go towards your graduation. It can, in some majors, can help fulfill certain requirements and things along those lines. So as you can see, there's a lot of benefits of doing summer research, and I've talked about the different benefits that come with various programs. The programs do differ in terms of exactly what they offer. They also differ in terms of some of their expectations. So we want to give you an overview of some of the different programs that we offer. The point of this particular presentation isn't necessarily for you to have a really clear, in-depth understanding of each of the programs that we offer, but we do want you to know that there's a wide variety of programs. So whether you're really interested in the professional development activities or whether you feel that, no, I've already done those types of activities, I really want to focus solely on the research, there's a program that would fit for you. And I believe at this point, Sophia is going to show something that we have on our website to help helps students understand the different programs that we have and the programs that might be of interest to them.
Thanks for that, Kirsten. So on our website, the Undergraduate Research Hub, you can actually click on urh.ucsc.edu to get to our page. And then here under programs, we have a list of all UC San Diego undergraduate research programs. And as a caveat, these are ones that we are aware of. There are sometimes programs that come up, faculty apply for them, but they don't always let us know. So this is as much as we are familiar with, but as we find out about programs, we try to add them so that we can support all the different programs available at UC San Diego. But we have this lovely table, it's also known as an air table, where you can look through and just see various programs here. And I know it can look a little bit overwhelming. One of the nice things is we can filter on various opportunities. So for instance, if you're a student that's looking for something just in summer, you can say, I'm looking for a program quarter in summer. That might limit some of the opportunities here, or if you're looking for academic year, you can change that. You can also say, hey, I am a student that is, maybe I'm an international student. And in that case, I'm looking for maybe programs that are open to everybody, or specifically says international student. And you can kind of pick out what might be available there. And so in this case, you can see that there's about 8 programs that we know of that support students that are international students and are for the summer. So if you're trying to look for various programs, this is a wonderful way to kind of pop through and say, I'm looking for various opportunities and see what there is. You can also do a little search field here if you know certain things that you're looking for. And so there are, let's see, we have 52 opportunities here at UC San Diego, various research ones, different academic year versus summer, but there's a lot of different opportunities. So take a look and see what options there are, but I wanted to share that with you just so that you know this exists and this is kind of how to browse through it. And getting back to our video, PowerPoint. All right.
Great. Thanks, Sophia. So as you can see, we have quite a few programs, not only in our office, the Undergraduate Research Hub or URH, but also across UC San Diego. And we'll talk in a little bit about how to approach applying to these different programs and some of the strategies that you might use. I wanted to right now just kind of mention some of the programs that we have in our summer research program, which again is called the SRP. That's the umbrella program that the Undergraduate Research Hub has, and it has a number of sub-programs within it. So for example, we have a program called CAMP, the California Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. There's a program called the Mariam Ahmadian Memorial Summer Fellowship Program for Research and Metabolism. There's quite a few different programs. And again, they vary in terms of the expectations, whether they're geared toward a specific field or anything along those lines. We're going to talk about each of these or some of these programs in a little more detail. But again, don't hesitate to explore our website. The website has information about each of these programs. Also, don't hesitate to reach out to us at the Undergraduate Research Hub. We can answer questions that you might have in terms of, this is my major, which programs might be the best ones for me, or this is where I am in terms of the amount of research experience that I've had, what might be a good next step for me. So talking about some of the specific programs, I'd like to start by talking about the UC Scholars and Genentech Scholars program. These are 2 programs that are sister programs. They're very similar and are run together. So we have weekly cohort meetings together and do a number of activities together. This is actually these are programs that Sophia and I are the coordinators for. So I coordinate the UC Scholars program. She coordinates the Genentech Scholars program. Whoop, whoop. And either one of us can answer questions about either program. So just to give you a sense of some of the benefits of these programs, the stipend for UC Scholars, which is an 8-week program, is a $3,000 stipend. And for Genentech Scholars, it's $3,600. This is what we were talking about before in terms of the length of the program will impact the total amount that you receive, but on a weekly basis, it's roughly the same. Both of these programs offer either on-campus housing, which the program pays for and arranges, or a housing allowance that covers a portion of your off-campus housing. Both of these programs, and in fact, all of the programs in our SRP really help you build a relationship with a mentor. So it's incredibly important over the summer that you get the chance to interact with faculty members and other advanced scientists and researchers in any field who can give you a sense of what it's like to be in that field. So that's one of the highlights and benefits for these programs. You also gain experience presenting research, working in your field of interest. For both of these programs, there is a minimum 2.8 GPA requirement. If you are really close to that, right on the cusp, reach out to us and we can kind of have a discussion with you to see about, whether this is a good option for you. Don't count yourself out, but know that that generally is the minimum GPA. Both of these programs also require a letter of recommendation. And when I say both of these programs, there's actually just one application for the two programs. Essentially, you submit one application and then you indicate, I'd like to be considered for UC Scholars, I'd like to be considered for Genentech, or I'd like to be considered for both. So for this application, you will need a letter of recommendation. It does not have to be from a UC San Diego faculty member. We do encourage you to have it be from somebody who really can speak to your academic abilities. And what we want to hear about is, are you interested in research? Do you have any experience with research? It's fine if you don't, but we want to know about how you would do in a research program like this. So somebody who perhaps knows a lot about your character, like perhaps a sports coach or an employer, a former employer, they may know a lot about you and a lot about what a hard worker you are and how smart you are in general, but that might not be the best person to write a letter for you. Similarly, and this goes for a lot of the programs, not just these programs, when you're thinking about letters of recommendation. Similarly, if there's, say, a faculty member who knows you because you were in their class with 200 other people, and the most that they'd be able to say is, oh, this student did well and got an A in the class and attended most of the class sessions, that's not that informative to us. It's positive, but it doesn't give us a lot of in-depth information. So you'll want to think about how to strategize and get a person who can write a strong letter of recommendation for you. Incidentally, our website does include a number of resources for students, including things like how to go about asking for a letter of recommendation. So as you're going through the application process, do check out our website and look to see if there's things that you're not sure about. It's likely that we have it on our website. For the program, again, going down the requirements, you need to commit to 30 hours per week of research. And you also need to have 90 units by the end of this coming spring quarter or before the program starts. So you may be a first year here at UC San Diego, but depending on whether you came in with AP credits and things along those lines, by the end of spring quarter, you may already have 90 units. And so you would be eligible for this program or either of these programs. Both of these programs are open to students of all citizenship statuses and any level of research experience. So we typically have some students who have done quite a bit of research and some students who have never done research and everything in between. And that's kind of what we're looking for. We want a nice, broad example of the types of experiences that students have had. UC Scholars is open to students of all is open to students of all majors. So any field, you're welcome to apply to UC Scholars. For Genentech Scholars, it focuses on students who are in the life science and biotechnology fields.
And actually, I just noticed we have a question in the chat specifically to this. The question is, would I need a faculty mentor before applying for these, or would I be matched with one?
That's an excellent, excellent question. So for this particular program, you do not need a faculty mentor before you apply. You wouldn't be matched with one. We don't have kind of a list of mentors and we say, okay, here's 10 mentors, take your pick. but we would work with you to figure out somebody who might be a good match for you. And so really anyone who is in a professor role at UC San Diego could be a, a mentor for you. We can kind of talk with you more about the specific requirements, but and Sophia, I don't know if you saw, can you turn on the closed captioning? Thanks. So you do not need a mentor ahead of time. We will work with you to find one, but there's not kind of a set number of people that we would match you with. If you already have a mentor, that's fine as well. So some students come in and they apply and they say, this is the project I want to work on. This is the person I would be doing it with. I've already spent a year doing research with this person. That works. Others say, I've already done research, but I kind of want to change the area that I'm in. I'd like to find a new mentor. That works. And other people say, you know, I don't have a mentor. I'm not sure who it might be. And that works too. You'll notice as we talk about the different programs that varies from program to program. So for UC Scholars and Genentech Scholars, you do need a letter of recommendation. It does not need to be from the person who's going to be your mentor, and you do not need a mentor ahead of time. For some of the other programs, you might need a mentor ahead of time, and that person might not need to write a letter of recommendation, but might need to submit a form basically endorsing you and say, yes, I've agreed to work with this person during the summer.
There's actually a mention about trails, and we'll get to that when we get
Yes.
to trails.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So next slide.
Yeah.
All right. And would you like to talk about this?
Sure. So
Okay.
speaking of TRELLS, one of the students in the chat asked about TRELLS. This is another program that we offer. TRELLS takes place during both the academic year and the summer, and you can apply to TRELLS multiple times. So you can do TRELLS up to 3 times. If let's say that you apply to do it in the spring and you're accepted, you could also apply to do it in the summer and could be accepted. The summer applications are not yet open. It's similar, TRELLS is similar to UC Scholars and Genentech Scholars in terms of building a relationship with a mentor, really getting in-depth experience doing research, getting to interact with other students in your cohort. So there's a lot of similar benefits to it. One of the big differences in terms of the application process is that for TRELLS, you do need to have a mentor when you apply. And I saw that there was a question about, if I need to have a mentor, how would I go about doing that? Again, I want to direct you to our website. There's a portion there that talks about how to find a mentor. And I believe we have a video recording that offers some suggestions as well. We can certainly help you with those types of things. You would be, in some cases, cold emailing faculty members. Certainly, if you've taken a class with a professor that you particularly like, that's a great place to start. Even if you don't want to do research with that person, they may have recommendations of other people. Graduate students and TAs are another great starting place. But again, I know it feels intimidating, but we can work with you and help you kind of get a sense of how would I reach out to somebody? And generally it is through sending an email. You'd want it to be fairly brief and give them just a sense of why you're emailing them, why you're specifically interested in their research. Okay, next slide.
All right. So another program that we have available through URH is the Undergraduate Research Scholarships. This is actually a program that I run. This is a family of scholarships. Actually, URS is an umbrella name for about 12 different scholarships. We'll take a look at that in just a sec. But a number of different scholarships that are donor funded. And so this is a situation where donors come back to UC San Diego and say, I want to support a student in biological sciences. I want to support a communications student. I want to support a transfer student. And so based on their requests, we build a portfolio of scholarships to support students from all different kinds of backgrounds. And so actually, this information is a little bit outdated. We have increased our scholarships for some of them. The range, depending on the particular scholarship, would be between 5,000 and 6,500. And so some of them do have a little bit more money, depending. But similarly to a lot of the SRP programs, you get to build that relationship with a mentor, a research mentor, and get experience in presenting your research and working in your field of interest. Now, with this, there's more specific requirements in that your research proposal will be required. So this is where you put out a description of the work that you plan to do during the summer, during the 10 weeks of the program. There's also a personal statement required. We have a letter of recommendation that needs to come from the research mentor that you will be working with. And so in this case, it is an actual full letter. Even if they don't know you, it's okay. They can talk more about the project and your ability to contribute to it based on what they know. And so there are possibilities with getting a letter of recommendation, even from a brand new professor that you just found this week. It is a 10-week program, as I mentioned, and you will be committing to 30 to 40 hours of research a week in this particular program, mainly focused on your particular area that you describe in your proposal. And you do need to continue as a full-time student next school year, at least during the fall quarter. You cannot be graduating in June of this year for the URS scholarship specifically. I think that may be different for the UC Scholars and Genentech Scholars, in that if you're graduating in June, we can help you extend your graduation through the end of summer. But for URS and TRELS, these two programs need you to be a full-time student next year, continuing on at least for 1 quarter to be considered for the program. These programs all under URS, these scholarships do support students from all different kinds of majors between the 12 different awards and fields. They do support students from every class level, so you could be a freshman all the way through senior. And they support citizens, permanent residents, and undocumented students. And brand new, hot off the press, I just found out one of our awards can be expanded to support international students. So that's really exciting. And so with this, because we have many different scholarships and they are separate applications for each scholarship, we have a range of dates that they're due. And so this application due date, it's not that you can apply and submit during this whole range. It depends on which particular award that you're looking for. They will have varying dates between February 20th and February 29th. So keep that in mind. And if you go into the application system, you will see the exact deadline when those applications are due at 11:59 p.m. of that day. Okay, so looking into the individual scholarships that we have, if you want to check out the URS website, you can check us out at urs.ucsd.edu. And this is a list of our various scholarships. The blue coloring actually does not mean anything specifically, but Eureka is one that focuses on basic and translational biology. So you need to be a biological sciences major to participate in that particular one. We have one called the Chancellor's Arts and Humanities and Social Sciences Award. So that's one that focuses on very specific fields. The Doris Howell supports students that want to do research in women's health. Julia Brown supports healthcare, medicine, pharmaceuticals, public health, those sorts of areas for your career interests. The Philip and Elizabeth Heastand focuses on students that have majors in Scripps Institution of Oceanography or engineering, or you're doing maybe both of those possibly. With Liddell, it's a general STEM scholarship. So if you're in science or engineering backgrounds, you can apply to this one. If you have a project that's interested in governance, social impact, maybe the environment or the arts, I know those are very disparate fields, but if any of those are covered, you can consider the Gamby Award. The David Belkin Award supports students doing projects in environment or ecological studies. Dines and Hellman scholarships specifically are multiple scholarships that support students doing research in physics. HIV Institute recently has started supporting students doing interesting research in the areas of transgender or gender non-binary community health. This one in particular, I want to point out, you do not need a research proposal or even a faculty to apply. You can just apply with an interest and you will be matched in this particular case with a faculty mentor based on your interests. And your letter of recommendation, actually, you do not need an actual letter. You just need 2 references, and they may or may not contact those people to just check in about your background. And then finally, we have Starbucks on campus actually has decided to support a research scholarship in sustainability projects. So we have all kinds of awards, and between all of these different 12 awards, we can find something that supports every project. So this is a little bit out of date, but February 20th to 29th of 2024 are the dates of these various scholarship deadlines, and they will be due by 11:59 p.m. of that particular date. And I think this is Kirsten. And you're on mute.
Sorry, it doesn't help if I'm talking, but no one can hear me. So the next thing that we want to talk about is letting students know about how to put together a strong application. And there's a lot of different factors that go into it. As you can see, we have a lot of different opportunities available, and we really do encourage students to apply to multiple opportunities. Some of the opportunities get quite a few applicants compared to the number of slots available. So it's important that you try to spread your applications widely, make sure that you're applying to more than one opportunity. For each opportunity that you apply to, make sure that you check all of the eligibility requirements. It does vary from program to program. And if there's something where you're not sure whether it applies to you or not, reach out to that program coordinator and they should be able to give you more guidance. Also, understand the goals of the program to which you're applying, because one of the things you want to do is explain how you're a good fit for that program. And for example, some of our programs are really geared towards students who want to go and get a PhD. And so if you're applying to a program like that, but your primary goal is to get an MD or to get a law degree, and that's what you're talking about, and you're not really emphasizing that you want to do research, that makes the people who are reviewing the application think this might not be the best fit for you. It might not serve you as well as another program might. So just make sure that you have a sense of what the program offers, what the expectations and requirements are. The programs also vary in terms of how often the professional development activities are required. So students in all of the programs are welcome to attend all of the professional development activities. And in some of the programs, it's a requirement. So you want to kind of make sure you're looking for the programs that are a good fit for you. The applications all include a portion that's specific to the particular program, and we'll go over the actual application portal in just a moment. But each program has some questions that are kind of specific to that program. So you'll want to really think about it and think about it. Says a personal statement. Some of the programs have a personal statement, which is kind of the traditional tell us about yourself and how you would fit with this program and why you're interested. Others have a number of shorter questions that might get at different ideas. For each one, just make sure that what you're writing is clear, that it really expresses your passion. We want to see students who are excited about the thought of doing research and excited about the particular topic that they think they might be working on. We really encourage you to get feedback on your personal statement from other people. So in particular, the Writing Hub at UC San Diego is a fantastic resource. Take a look at the application, write a response to the various items that there are, and go to the Writing Hub and say, this is what I have. This is what I was thinking of including. What do you think about this? They can give you really great feedback. If you do have a mentor, the mentor is another person who can be great in terms of giving you advice and feedback on what you're writing. If you don't have a mentor, if for some reason you can't go to the Writing Hub, at least have some friends take a look at what you're writing. A lot of times we write things and it's crystal clear to us and we know exactly what we're saying. And then when somebody else reads it, it's not as crystal clear to them because they're not in our mind understanding all the different things that we're thinking of. So have somebody else read it. Make sure that there aren't spelling errors, just even simple things like that. Again, we really want you to express your excitement and your passion, and we want to hear about why you're interested in this specific program. So what is it about this program that you feel like would be a great fit? So if you're applying to different programs, there might be different things about each program that excite you. So program A might have one particular thing that you feel would be great. Program B might have something different. That's fine. And it's okay to talk about different things in different applications that excite you. You also want to think about who could write a letter of recommendation for you if needed. You're going to want to contact your potential letter writer as early as possible. So for example, with the UC Scholars and Genentech Scholars program, the due date is February 8th. So that's a little ways away, but not far. So if you're thinking about applying to one of those programs, reach out to potential mentors or potential letter writers now. Indicate that you recently found out about this summer program, you're really interested in it, you're wondering if they'd be able to provide you with a strong letter of recommendation. Excuse me, again, a strong letter of recommendation is one that provides some insights into who you are. It's not just something that says, oh, this student got an A in my class. It's something where it's clear that you've had some discussions with the letter writer about why you would want to be in a summer program. So if you talk to a potential letter writer and they say, well, yeah, I could probably write a letter for you, you might say, could we set up a time to talk about why I'm interested in this program and for me to give you a little bit more information about what I'm hoping to accomplish this summer? Then you can tell them, this is what I want to do this summer. This is why I'm excited about it. And that goes a long way when a letter writer is able to say, yeah, I've met with this student. I know this is what their long-term goals are. This is what they're hoping to get out of this summer. So not only do you need to kind of think about a letter writer, but you also want to give them as much information as possible so that it's easy for them to write a really strong letter for you. If you're going to be applying to a program that requires you to have a mentor in place, you'll want to take care of that. You can visit the URH website because, again, there's a recording there about how to find a mentor, and that's a tremendous help. You can also set up a meeting. Everyone at the Undergraduate Research Hub is really here to help you all be successful in your research endeavors, and that includes applying to the research programs. So if you've looked at that video and you've reached out to some people and you feel like it's just not coming together, I'm not quite sure what I need to do next, it's just not working for me, reach out to one of us and we can maybe give you some pointers or some suggestions. Again, the earlier that you do this, the better. It gives you more time to meet with potential mentors or to meet with potential letter writers, and gives them time to consider it and do the things that they'll need to do in order to help you. As I mentioned, we really encourage students to apply to multiple programs. I also want to let you know, though, if you do apply to multiple programs and you get accepted into multiple programs, you can only be in one program at a time. So if you apply to, let's say you apply to UC Scholars and to TRELS, and you're accepted into both of those programs, you cannot do both of those at the same time. And the way it works, and this is kind of true in professional life in general, once you make a commitment to a program, let's say you get accepted into the UC Scholars program, and then later you hear that you got accepted into TRELS, and for whatever reason you feel TRELS is a better fit for you. If you've already accepted the first program, you can't at that point then say, oh, I don't want that program. There's something better that came along. You need to kind of think about this. And if you're given an offer and you're told, here's an offer, we'd love to have you, please let us know if you're going to accept the offer. If you're still waiting to hear back from another program, you can reach out to that program and say, I'm wondering what the timeline is on decisions. You don't want to be demanding and say, I have to know right now, but you can just say, what's the timeline? You can also reach out to the first program and say, is there any possibility of an extension on the decision timeline? So I really appreciate the offer. I'm trying to figure out some other things. Could I get an extension? You just don't want to be in the situation of having accepted an offer and then later rejecting it, because that's really problematic. Sophia, were there other things that we wanted to be sure to say about doing a competitive application? I know that we have some questions in the chat that we'll get to, and I know that we also wanted to demonstrate the application portal.
I think you covered it pretty well, actually. Do you think we should start with the questions in the chat, or do you want to show the portal first?
Why don't we do the portal and then we can address the questions in the chat?
Okay. Give us a sec. So getting back to the URH website a little bit, just as a note, if you're looking to find that how to find a research mentor page, if you look under the students tab, how to find a research mentor is the third one down. So take a look at that if that's what you're interested in. If you're looking at any of our particular programs, you could look under the summer research programs page and find the list of many different programs that URH supports under SRP. But say you're applying to UC Scholars, for instance, and you're trying to apply, the way you get to the application process itself is clicking on this yellow button here, and it takes you to the application portal. So here, when you log in, you'll have to use sign in here. If you're on a mobile device, this might be at the very bottom of the page, but otherwise it's typically in the upper right-hand corner. And so you click in with single sign on. I am going to pause share real quick while I sign in real quick. And got to do the Duo authentication, of course, so this takes a minute. All right, so once you log in, the first thing that you get to see is the general application. And this is the place where you want to fill in questions like you put in electronic signature, you put in today's date so that you agree to these statements at the top. So today's the 17th. You can put in your permanent address. I filled in a little bit of these before. Let's select a citizenship status, ethnicity. So it's a lot of basic demographic type questions. And it should be pretty easy to get through these general questions. Put in a PID number here. This is where you state your current academic standing. So if you're junior standing and above, you can be considered for programs like UC Scholars or Genentech Scholars. And then there's a separate question that asks about your expected number of units by the end of this academic year, so June, which may be different or maybe the same. And so you want to consider the difference between your current as well as end of the academic year. When you expect to graduate, let's say spring of 2025, I'm graduating. And what is the highest, all the different degrees that you expect to complete in your lifetime. And so whether you want to go to med school, law school, pharmacy school, or you just want to get an MFA, you know, any of those are optional, even just a bachelor's is fine. And this is just helping us to understand where do you want to be. Professional career objective, I want to be a dancer, let's say. And you can be either an entering first year, you say yes or no this year, and transfer student status, again, yes or no if you transferred this at any point actually in your undergraduate career. And if you did say yes here, you can list the institution you transferred from, what GPA you had, when did you begin, and whatnot. I'll say that I'm a biological sciences student. If you have multiple majors, you might be in a couple different areas, academic schools. And let's say I'm a bioinformatics. I don't know if they have bioinformatics, maybe biology with specialization in bioinformatics. Once you get through all the majors, you put in also other additional majors you have, maybe not specified here, any minors. My primary major, so if I'm a bio major, let's say I have like a 3.65. If you have a secondary major, like say your second degree is theater, let's say I'm a theater major too. My secondary major might be different, and this is just within your major GPA. We do actually import your overall cumulative GPA, so you don't need to enter that. And then your parent or guardian's highest level of education. I'm going to select that my parents got a 4-year college graduate degree, and you can specify more information here if you want to. And questions about financial aid, let's say I did have financial aid and I had a Cal grant and maybe a merit-based scholarship and maybe also a loan from UC San Diego. But you want to go to your financial aid if you're unsure about which of these that you have. My date of birth, let's say it was 01/01/2004. Let's just say. Unofficial transcript. So this is a place that you upload a document that is your academic history. You can access it through my Triton link. In my case, I'm just going to upload some, oh, I have a transcript here from 5 years ago. So once you finish all of this, you can finish and submit. This actually lets you see all the opportunities based on your profile here that you would be eligible for. So you don't need to filter as much because you filled out these questions. And so based on what I put in, I am eligible to consider some of these different scholarships. A lot of these are URS scholarships specifically. And so it's just helpful to know, okay, if I want to apply to Liddell, I can go ahead and click on here and see what questions they have. So the ones that we talked about previously, you can put in things like your mentor's information, title, name, and email address, add a reference for your faculty. This is where the faculty gets an immediate email once you put in the name and email and save it. And this will help, like let's say I wanted to ask Kirsten Hung to write a letter for me. I can save it here, and this will, as soon as I click save, send her an automatic email. And so this is save and keep editing. Did that go?
So one thing about that is it means that you definitely want to talk to potential letter writers before you do this step, because if a potential letter writer suddenly gets an email that says, oh, this student has said that you'll write a letter for them, is that correct? And you haven't talked to them about it, that does not go well. So have a conversation with them, have that conversation early, and then as soon as they say, yes, I'd be happy to, put their information in so that they can then get the information that they'll need in order to write a letter for you.
Right. Thanks for pointing that out. If for some reason faculty have issues getting these emails, feel free to reach out to one of us and we can help the faculty get the requests in case there's some issues with spam firewalls. But also one thing to note is once you put in that reference within, like say, all the different URS awards, you can utilize that reference again for other URS awards. You cannot use that for the UC Scholars application though, or Genentech Scholars or TRELS. But within the URS family of 12 different awards, you can select and use that same reference over and over. And the faculty just needs to upload one letter. So that's one thing to keep in mind. We ask students to fill out all of these scholarship requirements saying that you'll be not currently enrolled as part of a BSMS or BAMA program. That if you're selected, you don't have a separate job. If you're selected, you won't plan to take classes during the summer, and that you do not plan to graduate before August of this year. So all these have to be true to be considered. You put in your title, abstract, your research proposal can be uploaded here. There's a question about IRB. And you mentioned, I am the primary author and I wrote all of this pretty much myself, or you got some moderate assistance, or you actually received a large amount of assistance. Whichever one of these is true, it just helps us understand where you're coming from. Personal statement can be uploaded here. And then you tell us a little bit about which area of research that you're doing. For this particular award, it asks the project area and subfield of that area of research. You can list rankings of which scholarship program you would like to consider as your top choice, second choice, third choice. You can apply to more than 3 programs or 3 scholarships, 3 awards, even though you're only listing your top 3. This just kind of helps us guide decisions a little bit. If you are selected as one of the top students, this helps us say, oh, you are getting this award in that case. And then we also have, how did you hear about this application? A lot of students hear about this maybe from a friend or a faculty member. They might have heard about it from us at the URH office, maybe on our newsletter or the website. And so that's just helpful for us to understand where you're coming from. And then any clarification of responses you can put in here. So that's one example of an award that you can apply for URS. And there's other options that you can look into, and the questions will be slightly different. But I think that this gives you a sense of what opportunities there are out there. And I see there are so many more questions in our chats. Kirsten?
There are, and I wanted to touch on a few things just related to the application itself.
Please.
So Sophia showed you how after you fill out the first couple of components of the application, it will recommend programs to you for which you're eligible.
Right.
If there's a program that you think you should be eligible for and it's not showing up, contact us, because sometimes it's just the way that you answered one of the questions and the programming doesn't have it lined up quite correctly. So you can just, if there's something you think you should be seeing and you're not, let us know. Also, in terms of the letters of rec, it's important that you kind of keep on top of that. So if you need a letter of recommendation, or if you need an endorsement by a faculty mentor, in your application portal, you can see where that stands. You can see whether or not it's been submitted or not. You want to give that person, the letter writer or the mentor, some gentle reminders. Don't email them every single day saying, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? But do give them some gentle reminders, and ask them if there's any additional information that you can provide and that type of thing, because that will be your responsibility to make sure that they've done it. If they either are having an issue and say, I just can't do it by the deadline, they should contact us directly. Or if they are saying, I haven't gotten anything, I'm not seeing it, a lot of times it goes to spam. So ask them to check their spam folder. Or if they're having a hard time logging on to submit it, please have them contact us. So any technical difficulties of that sort, let us know, or have the letter writer / mentor reach out to that.
Right. I just showed you here, if you're looking for the status of your references, you want to check this tab under active, and you can see this reference that I just requested to Dr. Kung on this date. That's when I requested it, and the current status is requested. If I want to resend the email, I can click on resend request. And if it has changed to submitted, it will say submitted here. So that's helpful for you to know, oh, I requested this letter. Today, we still have a little bit of time between the 17th and when this application is due on the 26th. So I won't probably resend the request maybe for another week or so. But if it gets pretty close and the faculty keeps on saying they don't receive the email, again, please consider contacting us and we can tell you more about, or we can work with the faculty to help them get to where they need to be. Also, if I know Kirsten mentioned that if you can't seem to find the right opportunity listed, you can also look here under the opportunities tab. The all tab lists every single opportunity. You are not restricted from applying from any of these, but most likely if they're not showing up, it's probably because you were not eligible for some reason. But the all opportunities really can get you there if you feel like you should be eligible and for some reason it's not showing up. What's typically showing to you is a recommended list, and that's what we were looking at earlier. But just want to point that out if you're looking for something else. And then you can go back to any applications that you've begun under My Applications to look at what you've started and you haven't yet finished, or if you want to update anything in your general application or undergraduate student application. Are there any questions in the chat that would be good for us to check in on, Kirsten?
I believe that I've addressed most of them, but it's a little hard, so I may have missed ones. One thing that people were asking in general is, if I don't have a mentor and I don't really necessarily know what I want to research, for the UC Scholars Genentech Scholars thing, it says, well, what kind of general area are you planning to research? So how do I answer that if I don't really know? And I think for that, what we'd like to see is that you have some ideas of what you might be interested in. It's not something where, well, you said you wanted to do this and now you absolutely have to. But if you said, well, I'm interested in biology, that's so broad that it feels like, gosh, kind of, what would you like to do this summer? What would you hope to accomplish? So you definitely do not need to have a specific project where you're like, and then I'm going to manipulate this, and then I'm going to measure that, and here's the exact experiment all laid out. You don't need to have that, but it'd be good to have a general sense of some of the fields that you think you would like to research.
And of course, if you do have that because you've been doing research for a while, that's okay to state too.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you have either a specific idea, again, because you've been doing research, or a very specific idea because you're continuing with a project that you're already doing, you're like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. This is the exact experiment that I want to do this summer. That's completely fine as well. UC Scholars and Genentech Scholars we really want to have this breadth in terms of the amount of experience that students have had, and we want students who are experiencing research for the first time and students who have done tons of research. So there's not kind of a right or wrong answer. You're not going to be advantaged or disadvantaged either way. So I think I did get to all of the questions, but if I didn't, or if there are new questions, feel free to either put it in the chat or raise your hand or just unmute and ask.
And I know we only have about 3 minutes left, but while people might be formulating questions, this is a slide just to contact us. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us by email. Overall, for the URH office, of course, you can also contact us at the general UG Research at ucsc.edu email. Our website is ugresearch or urh.ucsc.edu. We do have a newsletter that comes out every Friday, and it talks about opportunities both available here at UC San Diego as well as elsewhere. And we specify some that are specific to our office as well as other ones that are maybe our partners here on the UC San Diego campus. But you can certainly sign up for that, and we think it's useful to participate and just see what's going on. And of course, if you're looking for the application portal, there's a link right here as well. So we will share at least the video online. And if you're looking for any particular links, feel free to reach out to us. But I think that's pretty much